In today's lesson, we're talking about the major scale. The major scale has 7 unique pitches, and it sounds like this. So there are tons of resources to help you play the major scale on guitar, and often they'll refer to scale shapes. So a scale shape is a pattern of fingering that you can memorize. Here's a common one. So the way that I've been taught to visualize the shapes are you find the root of the scale. So say you're in the key of A major, you find the A on the B string, and then you play the shape. If you want to learn how to play scales on the guitar, scale shapes are a really good place to start. The problem with scale shapes is that you're not really thinking about the notes in the scale that you're playing. You're kind of just thinking about like the starting note and then the fingering. This video is not about learning scale shapes. It's more about the theory behind major scales. So if I were to ask you what notes are in the key of A or what notes are in the key of B flat, would you be able to tell me? I've broken down this video into 7 rules. So hopefully by the end of these 7 rules, you'll have a full understanding of major scales and the notes that are in any given major scale and kind of how to come to those conclusions. Rule number 1, there has to be one of every letter in the musical alphabet in a major scale. Easy enough. You can only have one A, one B, one C, one D, one E, one F, and one G. So you have 7 notes, one of each in the musical alphabet. Rule number 2, the key of C has no sharps or flats. So the key of C is entirely made up of natural notes. So let's play all the natural notes starting on C and ending on C. So there I played a C, D, E, F, G, A, B, and now we're at C. So that's the major scale sound. It probably sounds good to you. You've probably heard that sound before. So now that we know that there are no sharps or flats in the C major scale, we can start thinking about the intervals. So C to D is a whole step, D to E is a whole step, E to F is a half step, F to G is a whole step, G to A is a whole step, A to B is a whole step, and B to C is another half step. So that brings us to rule number 3. The intervals in any major scale are going to be whole, whole, half, whole, 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 half. Rule number 4, there aren't going to be sharps and flats in the same key. So if a key has sharps in it, it's going to only have sharps. If a key has flats in it, it's going to only have flats. So rule number 5, fat cats get dead after eating babies. What did I just say? So this is a mnemonic device that will help you figure out what sharps are in the natural keys that contain sharps. So there are 2 little subset rules within this rule. The first one is to figure out how many sharps there are. We start on G and we count over to our key. The second one is to figure out what the sharps are. We start on F. So let's take, for example, the key of E. If I started on E and played all of the natural notes, it wouldn't sound like a major scale. So I'm going to have to modify some of those notes in order to get it to sound like a major scale. So in the key of E, we're going to follow the rules. Fat cats get dead after eating babies. We're going to start on G. Get dead after eating. So we have 4 sharps in the key of E. Again, we started at G and we counted over to it. Get dead after eating. And then to figure out what the sharps are, we're going to start at F. So we know we have 4 sharps. Fat cats get dead. So those are our sharps. And if we play F sharp, C sharp, G sharp, and D sharp, starting on an E, so E, F sharp, G sharp, A, B, C sharp, D sharp, and E. Play that one more time. It sounds like a major scale. Let's do another example. Let's take A for example. So we have an open A string. To figure out how many sharps there are, start at G and count to your key. So get dead after. So we have 3 sharps, and what are they? We start at F. Fat cats get. So if I play an F sharp, a C sharp, and a G sharp, instead of an F, a C, and a G, and if I start on A, it's going to sound like an A major scale. So I'm playing A, B, C sharp, D, E, F sharp, G sharp, A. So we have 7 natural notes. Now we said the key of C, or the C major scale, doesn't have any sharps or flats. Now this rule will cover the key of G, D, A, E, and B. So if we include C into the list of covered natural major scales, we're missing one major scale, and that's the key of F. So let's see if this rule applies to the key of F. So say I started at G and I wanted to count to F. So get dead after eating babies. We circle back to fat. So I hit F. So when I apply those 6 sharps, we're going to do F sharp, C sharp, G sharp, D sharp, A sharp, and E sharp. So what you'll notice is this isn't working for the key of F. This is working for the key of F sharp. And likewise, it'll be the same thing for the key of C sharp. So to answer the question, the key of F doesn't have any sharps, and that brings us to rule number 6. The key of F has one flat, and it's B flat. So that's just going to be one you have to memorize. If you start on F and play every natural note with the exception of B, we're not going to play B, we're going to play B flat, it'll sound like this. Sounds like a major scale. So our final rule, rule number 7, refers to the flat keys. Bead greatest common factor. So to figure out what notes are in all of your flat keys, it's actually pretty simple. You take bead greatest common factors, so B, E, A, D, G, C, F. And if you're in, let's say, the key of B flat, we have a B flat and an E flat. If you're in the key of E flat, we have B flat, E flat, and A flat. So all I'm doing is I'm taking bead greatest common factor, I'm finding the key that I'm in. So like let's take A for example. We're going to use all of the flats leading up to A, so B, E, A, and then we're going to do one more, so one pass, B, E, A, D. Now if I'm in the key of A flat and I play a B flat, an E flat, an A flat, and a D flat, it'll sound like a major scale. So now you should have the toolkit to figure out what notes are in any given major scale. And if you're interested in learning why this is important, be sure to subscribe to my channel because we've got more videos coming out about the number system and modifying scales and all that good stuff. So if you're interested in guitar-related theory, be sure to hit subscribe. If this video was helpful, be sure to give it a thumbs up, and thanks for sticking around.